Hello, thank you for having me. I'm Elizabeth Navugga, a professional marketing and business development consultant. Worked in different industries, different countries. Been on that journey of job hunting in Uganda and even abroad. So I know how challenging some of these things are. Luckily, I'm now on the side of I recruit for companies, but specifically in the marketing and business development departments. Platform I think I would recommend for everyone is the people. Know the right people or meet people within the fields that you want to venture in. Your people are really the first priority before you run to social media to search, because even when you're running to social media, those platforms are run by people. Know the right. Two, you can go, use social media platforms, use Facebook groups, use LinkedIn, use Twitter, any platform, even TikTok. People ask for jobs on TikTok these days. So whichever platform you're really comfortable with is what you'll go with. Also, different jobs are posted on different platforms. For example, if you want to go into high-end professional things, then definitely people are going to tell you use LinkedIn or go to the company websites, or just go to any website in Google and put I am looking for a job in this and this in maybe Kampala. They will definitely bring you different websites that have those jobs, or different companies, because some companies don't actually advertise any third-party websites. They advertise on their own websites. Every industry is hiring, because for every job, like even if we sit and be like, oh my god, doctors don't make money, people are going to fall sick. For every job, there's a client out there who needs your service. So that means they're going to keep hiring and hiring. What maybe the problem is people are doing maybe these courses and getting these skills, but they just don't know where to go to place the skills. So definitely, maybe worldwide, definitely IT skills are going to be needed more. Of course, engineering and all that, because the world is going digital. So everyone is going to tell you, oh, do something in IT, that is digital marketing, social media, website design and all that. But I'll still argue with you and be like, there are people who we know have studied IT and still don't have jobs, or studied IT and ventured into sales, or they're probably like front desk people or something. So it doesn't matter. Every industry is hiring, but how you get the job, how you get the information that this company is looking for someone is what matters. But companies will not stop hiring, even if you don't have to work you don't have to work with the big companies. I think that's also one thing young people miss out. Everyone wants to work with the big brands, and we forget that these big brands were once small brands and they still had employees. So what about you just go where you can really contribute and make that place the big brand that you desire to work with, or they'll poach you. Actually, before you think of standing out to employers, you need to know that you have to stand out before AI, because most companies these days do not go through CVs themselves. They use softwares. So what happens is most people get frustrated because the software sieves out your CV, and that is why sometimes you apply and within just seconds you're getting an email of, we are sorry, unfortunately we are going with someone else. That is not a human being telling you this. Like, that is a computer. So one is organize your CV according to what the job description is. Refrain from having a generic CV. It's a mistake that I think all of us have made. We have a CV and we're like, every application you just send in a CV. You're like, this is my resume, this is my resume. Refrain from that. Try to see the job description, see the skills they want. It doesn't matter whether you have them or not, you will learn them on job. Fix those skills in your CV. Fix those skills in your CV. That's the only way. So that's how you're going to first stand out. Like when I see the CV, I'm like, oh, this one actually matches maybe 90%. Yeah, you don't have to match the skills asked for 100%. And you don't have to be scared, because people always feel like when they read the requirements, someone is like, okay, I have that degree, but 4 years experience, I don't have this. some of these things, and I think that's where also people who recruit need to improve. Some of the job descriptions are also generic. Someone will go and be like, oh, I'm hiring for this position, goes to the internet, sees what this person is supposed to do, and they give you. So they're going to ask you for 4 years of experience on paper, but actually when you meet in person, they don't need someone of 4 years of experience. So don't limit yourself. Skill people look out for is communication, and you know, with communication, it starts from when you arrive at that place. How did you treat people? Okay, some companies don't, but as a candidate, you need to know, don't just pass and, you know, you don't greet the askaris, you don't greet receptionists, you don't greet anyone. Because when they give you a job, what? You're going to come over it. So, yeah, like the humility, the communication, are you going to be able to talk to people in the office, or how you communicate? And that also goes back to your body language. Like, there's so many things. Sometimes also communication can be as simple as your writing skills. If at all you're going to send me a CV that has typing errors, honestly, how am I going to trust you? Unless I've just given you a chance that, okay, but how am I going to trust you? Because that means you didn't even go through this CV. I think anger management goes into interpersonal skills, because trust me, workplaces are just like high school. You have you have a boss you don't like, you have a boss who doesn't like you for no reason, you have a colleague who is backbiting you, so there's all this. And with all this that happens in the, you know, in corporate spaces and everything, actually not even corporate, even normal shops and everything, you really have to have the body to take it through and not let it get in the way of your work. And definitely that, okay, competence would be the general thing. How competent are you in executing what you've said you've done? Then we also look at your previous achievements at your workplaces. So we look at your previous achievements at your workplaces, and they don't have to be so big, because sometimes when we ask candidates, maybe what did you do successfully at that place? Print CV templates, and also depending on if you're looking at the Ugandan market or the international market, because for the Ugandan market, we are not so strict on how you formulate your CV. But then if you're going to apply internationally, countries are very strict that the UK format is not going to work in Canada, the Canada format is not going to work in Europe, and all those things. So depending on where you're applying, you need to know the format that is suitable. And also, one thing I always tell people, don't include pictures, because there are people who include their face on their CV. Don't include your face unless you're maybe going for like an air hostess thing where your face is really needed. Do not include the year of your graduation in your CV. In Uganda, we usually put our qualifications and put a bachelor's degree from this 2000, this to this, and this. In other countries, if you're young, that is very okay, because you're applying for entry jobs. So it's okay, I'm saying that you don't have experience. But then if you're like getting to that, you're a bit old and you don't have a lot of experience, you want to refrain from that, because now if I see a CV and you graduated 10 years back, I'll assume you've been working. So if the job is not giving a lot of money, I'm not going to call you. But probably it's money that you would have worked for. For who are looking at going abroad, your Ugandan certificates may not be enough, or you may take long to fit into their education system. I would recommend you pick a hand skill, and those are things like learn how to braid, learn how to sew, learn how to cook. There are so many restaurant jobs that side and everything. Learn how to cook or bake or something. Learn how to drive. Go there with your driving permit, because it's different. You know, when you go with a driving permit, your test is not done the same way as someone who has gone and they need lessons, because whereas there are driving schools is, I don't need a car. With them, you need a car. And at that point, you don't have anyone. So learn things like, it can also be things like gardening, how to just clean compounds and what. Some of these things that we do, basically housekeeping, how sometimes the things we don't consider as jobs, or the dirty jobs here, end up being the, I don't want to say high paying jobs there, but the first jobs that everyone looks into. So because people take long to settle in, for those first maybe 3 months, learn how to use computers, and not just to the extent of, oh, I know how to communicate. Like, get something, learn how to maybe edit videos. Because you can look into getting remote jobs as well as you're trying to figure out something. Learn how to talk to people nicely, because you can do customer care. But unlike in Uganda, where all our customer care has to be front, you can be a virtual assistant.